Hi everybody, Mark Lawrence once again for the Playbook.com college football videos with my top tips and insight on this week's college football card. Insight number one, the Irish eyes are smiling once again. No doubt about that, as Notre Dame will be headed to the BCS championship game thanks to their big win over Southern Cal last week. A tip of the hat to the Irish and Brian Kelly for a fantastic undefeated season this year. Observation number two, my top college football studs on the football card thus far this football season. Number one stud, let's give it to Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish completed that undefeated football season, made it all the way to the BCS championship game with wins at Southern Cal and Oklahoma. Stud number one, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Stud number two this week, Texas A&M, the Aggies out of the Big 12 Conference. Not only did the Aggies win 10 games behind quarterback Johnny Football this year, they also knocked off Alabama and handed the Tide their only loss of the season. And stud number three, our former number one stud all season long, is Utah State, the Aggies, who fall to the number three slot simply because they failed to beat the spread last year. But all in all, a great job by the Aggies, our number three stud in college football this 2012 season. On the flip side, our top three duds, number one dud, no doubt about it, Southern Mississippi, who accomplished the impossible, going from 10 wins to 0, make that 12 wins to 0 last year. Head coach Ellis Johnson got the pink slip because of it. Southern Mississippi, our number one dud. Number two dud, the Kansas Jayhawks out of the Big 12 Conference, who have lost 21 conference games in a row and 20 consecutive line games in a row. Dud number two, the Kansas Jayhawks. And dud number three, let's throw Southern Cal where they belong, into the number three dud slot. Remember, this team was the number one team in the preseason polls this year and closed out the season with losses in 4 of their final 5 football games. The University of Spoiled Children spoiled once again. Moving on to my top 3 tips on the football card for Saturday. Tip number 1, a big bubble burst is in order. Look out for Kansas State. They win and they go to a BCS bowl game, but the bottom line is their perfect season was ruined in their last game. They've had a week of rest to think about that. A big bubble burst turns rusty in this football game. Will play Texas plus the points against Kansas State. Tip number 2 on the football card, our college football BODs. Better offenses, better defenses, dogs, you better take the points. And we'll do just that with South Alabama when they travel to Hawaii to take on the Warriors this weekend. South Alabama, better offense, better defense. Hawaii favored in a football game, give me a break. Play the Jaguars plus the points on Saturday. And tip number 3, our college championship games. Remember this tip. Dogs who were dogs of more than 3 points in their final game of the season are 12-3 against the spread in conference championship games. That plays the UCLA on Friday and Georgia Tech on Saturday. The big Alabama-Georgia showdown game is featured in the Playbook Football newsletter. There's a 14-1 winning angle inside that game. Download your copy now of this week's Playbook Football newsletter for all the SmartBox tips and insight on the big Alabama-Georgia showdown game. And if you haven't done so yet, join me now for my fan appreciation $49 weekend of winners, including our Perfect System College Football Game of the Year. Get all of my college and NFL plays for just $49 complete when you log on to the website now at Playbook.com, or give me a call toll-free at 1-800-321-7777. You'll be glad you did. For the college football videos until next week, once again, this is Mark Lawrence reminding you to always remember to bet with your head, not over it, and good luck as always.